everyone, and welcome to the 60th episode of the Brave News channel. I am your host, Shali, and we're here with the wonderful, the amazing Rizky. Say hello, Rizky.
Hello, everyone. Wow.
Right.
60.
And, of course, this is the show that's going to bring you all of the latest information for our fantastic application, Brave Frontier Global, available to you guys on iOS, Android, Amazon devices, as well as Windows. So, you know, the year just keeps going on. We're way into summer.
Yeah,
it's
not so fun summer where you can't really go outside. you know?
Yeah, I mean you can, but it's just still not the most ideal situation, unfortunately, globally speaking. So of course we're hoping that you guys are doing well and then you find yourselves healthy, as well as your family, friends, and loved ones. And just please continue to be responsible with how you handle yourself in public and stuff like that. I know that you guys are probably already doing that, but you know, it doesn't hurt to once in a while just remind people that we're in this together. If we don't help each other out, it's not going to end any sooner. So
that's correct.
Hopefully you guys are doing good. So that's the sadder part of today's introduction. But we have some fun stuff planned for you guys, of course, for this upcoming September, because we're already looking into September. It's hard to believe, but Rizky, do you want to start us off?
All right. So September, we don't really have the new, usually when we have the month of September, October, we will have the autumn. But I think we don't have the detail yet, but we have some update to the Uprising series. So we have a new special dungeon, the Uprising Scrolls of Urzyma.
Urzyma. That's my best guess, yes.
Yep. And then in this dungeon, we will learn the true name of Horus and find out what happened to him before Nefret found him. And we can obtain Harakhte as a reward unit. So the unit you see in the picture you see on the right side of the slide, that's Harakhte, I guess. And don't miss out on the Uprising tokens, because you can actually get a special alternate art for Set the Deceiver. And exclusive event Algiv, Sun and Moon in the Uprising event Bazaar. So
Sun and Moon sounds familiar.
Yeah, Sun and Moon. That's pretty familiar here as well. But anyway, maybe I will pass to you, Shali, for the two highlight of this dungeon, which is the reward unit and the alternate art.
Right. So let's go to the next slide here, and we can take a look at Harakhte, aka Horus, if I am not mistaken. Harakhte is actually the son of Aces and Osiris. As we know, Osiris was murdered by his sister Set, so Aces was left alone to raise Harakhte by herself. Obviously, she did the best that she could, and Harakhte helped his mother by kind of like gathering the information related to the people that they were looking over, so their people, and stuff happens. I mean, as always, stuff does happen, and we mentioned before that Nefret at some point finds him, and that they kind of become a team. But in what form does Nefret actually find him is that Nefret's falcon, if you guys remember that Nefret always has a falcon flying around her, that falcon is actually Harakhte himself. After Harakhte died, he kind of became this like spirit in falcon form, and that's why you can see that his aura is also a falcon there. So he and Nefret became a tag team following that. And if you get his unit and play the event, hopefully you can get more information as to why this happened to Harakhte and all the other little details of his background. But I have to say, this is such a cool looking unit. I've always been a fan of the Uprising units, just because the Egyptian concept, well, it's not a concept, it's a culture, right? It's history. And I'm a really big like history lover. Like anything that has to do with ancient times or like archaeology has always spiked my interest. So anytime that I see something like this, I'm immediately just like super curious, like what is he about, and what is the story behind him. And the fact that of course all of these Uprising units do have some basis in actual like Egyptian folklore, Egyptian gods and mythology and stuff like that is of course very interesting because there's so much more to look into rather than just like the character himself or herself. So what do you think about Harakhte here, Rizky?
Yeah, I mean, in general, I love the how we reimagine those ancient Egyptian god and mythological being here, and the design of like with a wing on his waist is pretty interesting, I think. And I don't know, like the helm reminds me like he's kind of like a warrior, kind of like a fighter or something. And his role also as a Nefret, a spirit falcon, just fit him really nicely.
Yes.
Oh.
I love the color palette.
The color palette
it puts me. It makes me feel so calm. Like for some reason, whenever I see him, the first idea that comes to my mind is like peace and quiet. Even though, as you said, his armor signifies that he's like a warrior and a fighter. For some reason, I don't know. It's just very peaceful. Just looking at him, I feel like, oh.
Come on, and that big moon, big moon at the back.
Yeah,
that huge moon at the back.
It's
really cool.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I really enjoy this design. He's a really cool looking unit. And as Rizky mentioned before, this is going to be a reward unit, so everybody can get him as long as they're clearing the content and meeting the specific, requirements for that particular event. So don't miss out on the chance to get Harakhte because he's a really cool looking unit, and I can't wait to see him in the game.
Right.
All right, let's move on to the next slide here, where we have Miss Set. Of course, Set has been out in the game for a very long time. She's very popular among like the community because of many reasons. I mean, not only is she like super cool looking and very beautiful, but her uses in battle are kind of like unparalleled in many different aspects, like being able to like wipe the doom effect and things of this nature. She's just a really cool unit, like all around. And having an alternate art is always something that's very cool, and I think we always kind of reserve that honor to like units that definitely have proven their worth.
Yep, that's correct.
And here we have Set with Anubis. Anubis, of course, being the Egyptian guardian of the underworld. Set has always been tied very closely to the concept of death, having killed her own brother Osiris. It fits her perfectly, but at the same time, when you look at this picture, I don't think many people would immediately think like, oh, death and like darkness or whatever. I think it's more of like I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like a mystical night.
Yeah,
like a night in the desert, or like the beach at night or something like that. It's more that kind of feel, I feel, rather than like something sinister or that she's like evil or that death is like an evil thing or whatever.
Yeah, you can see the background itself, like it looks like there's a galaxy behind, like
there's a galaxy. There's the moon is back there as well, just as it was with oh my god, Horus or
Horus, yes,
Harakhte. I can't pronounce these Egyptian names because I'm not necessarily sure of how the pronunciation actually goes. But I guess we can start seeing a common theme here. Harakhte would technically be actually her nephew, right? Because he would be the son of Osiris. So I don't know if that connection is there like on purpose, or if that just happens to be like a coincidence or whatnot. But I know a lot of you love Set. I unfortunately don't have Set. I was never able to get her. So those of you who do, make sure that you get this alternate art so that you can display it proudly to everyone who can see. And I'm eternally jealous of you until I get a set of my own. So please do enjoy that. All right, Rizky, can I pass it back to you?
All right. So moving on to the next piece of content. Next slide, we will have the Battles of Brave Frontier 2, the Scorching Blade, and we will have a special duel with the Scorching Blade Roy. Okay, and you can also obtain materials to craft the Sun core. Like a core. Okay, okay, Sun core's wheel sphere. So alongside this special dungeon, we will also have two other Heroes Across Time unit. Maybe I will pass it to you, Shali, on this.
Sure. Yeah. Just a clarification of what the Sun Core is. Of course, you guys are very well acquainted with the Demon Slayers, who have been a part of Brave Frontier lore since the beginning of time. Roy's particular Demon Slayer division is named the Sun Core, and the reason why it's named the Sun Core is because Roy has this very tiny little fairy that's always flying around him. It's like his best friend and his guardian, and she goes everywhere with him. And her name is Sun Core. So the name Sun Core actually comes from the name of that fairy.
Okay.
Like, there's more lore background there for you, just before we start diving into these other units.
I see. So it's not really a core or like quarry or something. It's like Sun Core.
I think it might be like the French spelling of the word core, as in like you know, the core of the sun is super hot. That is the center, the very center of the sun. That would be the core.
I see.
So I'm not entirely sure as to why the fairy is named Sun Core, but it kind of makes sense for Roy to be talking about the sun and like the hottest part of the sun, which you know. But I don't know if scientifically speaking, the core of the sun is actually the hottest part. That sounds like it's wrong to me. But one would probably imagine that it's very hot. So with that image in mind, and Roy being of the fire element, then that kind of feels like it's connected somehow.
I see.
But actually, more than that, like elemental connection is actually the connection that he has with his fairy friend, whose name is Sun Core.
Sun Core, okay.
Yeah. All right, but moving on to the next slide, we have Mariano. And Mariano is, of course, from the Brave Frontier 2 timeline. He is a badass bandit who, alongside his, I want to say bride, but I don't know that they were necessarily married. His lovely partner. He has a lady partner who he's very much in love with and will do absolutely anything to please and to make happy. They formed this band of misfits and bandits together, and they kind of like run it together while they go around looking for these weapons known as relics. And Mariano's gang actually found this particular girl who was holding a relic that was in the shape of a gun. And their whole plan was to just take that gun and steal it from her. But of course, you know, the girl is not going to go down that easily because the girl is actually a fighter herself. So, you know, they get into this huge fight, and the girl wins. She gets to keep her relic, and her friends helped her to make sure that she win. And Mariano's gang is taken down, and Mariano himself is actually arrested by the sheriff, who we'll be meeting in just a few seconds here. But in the end, he manages to escape and makes his way back to his beloved, and they kind of escape into the sunset to try again another day kind of thing. So it's a very, I want to say like a Western type of story, like the Old West, like cowboys and running around and duels with guns and things like that. That's the kind of setting that Mariano comes from. What do you think of his design, Risky?
Yeah, I mean, he's really badass though. He looks like badass. Like that eye patch, and is that actually a gun or like a gun blade? It looks a gun, like a gun blade. So I
think there's two blades, and they're kind of like attached to each other. So everybody in the gang has a different type of weapon, and it just so happens that his beloved she also has a gun that is a relic. So she's kind of wanting the other girl's gun to kind of have the set, you know, the two guns. And that's why they are trying to get the gun from her. So I guess he has a set of weapons of his own, but these happen to be like blades that are like fueled by fire or something. I don't know. He's very dramatic. Like you can just tell that he absolutely loves being dramatic. The eye patch, that crazy like fur lined coat, like yeah.
Oh yeah, the design is just amazing, and his element probably like a mix between earth and fire. I don't know. There's a green fire there.
Yeah, I don't know where the green fire comes from, but I believe he's definitely fire element, and he's got a big old cigar in his mouth too, to like
such a badass man.
You know, hammer that point home even more.
Yep.
So yeah, he believes himself to be a pretty cool guy, and he's just trying to play the part, you know, dressing like what he thinks a cool guy would be, because he's a bandit. He's like the second leader of a huge troop of bandits, so you gotta be scary looking and make a point, be like, I'm the boss here, not you, so you better listen to me, kind of thing, I guess.
All right.
Yeah, very interesting.
Very interesting design.
if Mariano is here, I'm thinking that slowly we'll be getting the rest of the gang kind of trickling in. So please do look forward to that. In the meantime, let's meet one of the good guys. Let's go to the next slide and meet Gilbert. Now,
wow.
Gilbert is a crazy looking
he's crazy looking, yes, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know what exactly about him like makes me say that, because I mean we've had pretty like muscly characters before, so that's not really anything new, but I think it's just his proportions are just all over the place. Like, you can't see his eyes. The only thing that you can see is his mustache and his chin, and like just this long flowy hair, and then his hands. His fists are like the entire size of his body, like in size. And then he's got these tiny little legs. So he's just a very interesting looking unit. I don't know how else to explain it. But despite his looks, he's actually a sheriff. He's the sheriff of the town that the bandits came to attack, where they were looking for that gun relic. And Gilbert assured the villagers that everything was going to be fine and that he was going to take care of things. And eventually he did. He showed them that, you know, he meant every word that he said, and due to the promises that he made and being able to keep them, then he was able to gain the town's trust. And so now he's a very beloved sheriff, and he continues to look after them every single day. So a very interesting character for sure.
He looks really intimidating. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
if
I
you don't know him,
with Gilbert.
Yeah, if you don't know him and then you try to like approach him, hey sheriff, can you help me? It's like, oh no.
Yeah, I would be scared to ask him too. And he seems to be a lightning unit, which is also very interesting, because his colors are more like bluish tone. But I can see that.
Yep.
I'm guessing that his lasso probably it's infused with like electricity, so whenever he catches bad guys with his lasso, then he can just like shock them
that fits
with the
well.
lasso, and then they'll stop resisting. But again, more of that Old West team, you know, the lassos and the guns and the cowboys kind of thing, sheriffs. So that's the kind of story that we're getting from these from this character batch. All right, and then we have one more unit here that we'll be introducing, and her name is Inara. Now, Inara is an Altered Destiny summon unit, so she has actually nothing to do with the Heroes Across Time batch. But I think today we unfortunately don't have all of the information regarding
that's right.
where we can see Inara and where we can expect her to make an appearance. I'm not sure where the disconnect happened, but I do believe that we have some content attached to Inara. Should we touch on that first, Risky, and then I can explain a little bit about her? Yeah,
I guess I will explain a little bit. The content that is actually attached to the Altered Destiny is the Grand Quest content. I think we have been we haven't been really explaining the Grand Quest episodic update in BNC so far, but I believe you guys have been receiving the updates. I mean, like in game or like in the official channel in Facebook. To those who are wondering like where this unit is actually related to, it is actually in the Grand Quest. So more detail on the unit itself, like how the kind of like the interaction between this unit and the other unit of the similar theme. Probably it's better for you guys to take a look and play the Grand Quest. But I think Shelly has some information about like the character itself. Some summary about it.
Yeah, no, well, thank you for explaining that, Risky. I think we have been missing that little bit of information from the show for some time now. Maybe at least from the last episode, kind of Gwyll came out of nowhere, and we weren't really sure where I said he. Where they fit in the actual like spectrum of things in Brave Frontier Global. But now we do, so thank you so much for that. And as far as Inara goes, she will probably be in the same lineup as Gwyll and the others. She happens to be this kind of like weird mix of human being and machine, more machine than human being probably. And she's just a very interesting character in the way that a lot of the time we have units like the Uprising units, where they are based on like old gods, and you know, they retain that feel of like being ancient, and they have like ancient weapons and things like that. But Inara is like what an ancient god would look like in a modern society. So instead of making use of like magic to like attack and things like that, Inara will make use of technology that can be passed off as magic, because it's so unbelievably advanced that humans can not possibly like understand how this could be like a machine or like engineered somehow. So the serpent that is floating around her, which happens to be her friend, his name is Bishop, and that's actually created by technology. That's not like a spirit or anything like that. That just happens to be part of the programming that comes with like Inara's mechanical side of things. But she treats it very much like if it was alive, like if it was her friend. So to her and to everyone else, you know, Bishop is real, I guess. But when we're technically speaking, Bishop is like made of data, ones and zeros, which is a very interesting take on like you know, gods and like spirits and like what we believe, what we consider to be that kind of level of incredible. Because humans as a whole, we just, anything that we cannot understand, we immediately consider like, wow, like that's amazing, right? So yeah, her technology just happens to be at a completely different level, and she surprises people with this. She has a very cold disposition, so she's not the friendly type. She's not here to like make friends, and she's actually imprisoned in ice at the very edge of the world. And we're just kind of waiting to see what happens once she breaks free of that ice prison. We don't know what her motives are, if she's here to do good or bad, but so far the assumption is that she's not really here to make many friends and to have like a good old time with everyone. She's probably here for some very different reasons, but I don't know. You guys just have to go play the Grand Quest episodes and find out for yourselves. I'm sure that a bunch of really fun new lore is written for you guys. Lots of different cutscenes. Hopefully a lot of new visuals for all of these new characters. I'm sure they look, because they always look so cool when they are fully drawn out, not just in Brave Frontier style, but like as like fully fleshed out characters. I always like to see the contrast between those two types of art. So that's always really fun to look forward to. So look out for Inara. Hopefully you guys are excited for her to make an appearance.
Okay.
All right, can I pass it back to you, Rizky?
Yes, sure. So the last piece of content we are having now is going to be the Vortex Arena Season 6, the Terrestrial Showdown. So as per a previous element, we will have adjustment of daily and overall rank rewards, and we also will have the previous Vortex Arena's rewards, goods, compassion, to be added in the event bazaar. So this time around, if you guys remember, in the past two BNC, we actually announced about the alternate art as a reward. But for this Vortex Arena Terrestrial Showdown, we don't have the detail yet, as for now, as per the time we are taking this video. So stick around on our usual, stay tuned to our usual announcement channel like Facebook to get more detail about what the reward will be. Yeah, that's the only thing I can say.
All right. Well, I mean, I love the idea of having alternate art as reward, because I am always here for alternate art. So hopefully it is, you know, one of the Earth Vortex Arena units getting a rehaul on their art as well. But we'll have to see. Don't take our word for it just yet. Please look for the details in the news to come, and hopefully there's some good stuff in there for you guys. Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, that does it for our main content. Please stick around for the Summoner's Corner coming up next. Alright, and we're back. It's time for the Summoner's Corner, where you guys ask all the questions and Rizky has all the answers for you. So, for the first question here is from Joe Sarte. Joe is wondering, when will the next Brave Insignia resent be? And also, if we are running out of Vortex Arena units, like ideas, he suggests that we could do elemental heroes, like omni versions of the elemental heroes, or even try our hand at the Western Zodiac, which, you know, the European version of Brave Frontier has its own set of units of the Zodiac. So what is the answer for this one, Rizky?
Well, for the first question, the next brief insignia reset will be in October or November. So, just stay tuned for more updates on that. For the second questions, the team is actually discussing for some exciting updates for VA, for Vortex Arena. So, just stay tuned for more announcement on that.
All right.
So yeah, no really like concrete answer for now, but yeah, it's in the planning. It's in the planning.
All right. I mean, it's better than nothing.
Yep.
I guess so.
It's better than no.
Thank you for all the suggestions as well, Joe.
Yeah.
We'll keep that in mind.
Right.
All right, let's go on to the next question here by Salvo Troia. So Salvo is asking for a level 4 of the R7 elemental raids because it's really annoying to only get a maximum of 6 Orabai Emberstones. And then he lists out all these other materials for sphere crafting that are just kind of very limited as far as numbers goes every time that you do a run. So you have to do like an insane amount of runs of the same raid level mission in order to get enough of these materials to actually craft the sphere that you need. So any chance of maybe like a higher tier of difficulties with more rewards?
Well, I guess unfortunately, but for now there is no plan for a higher tier like level 4 of RC7. But the team is hearing the suggestion and currently is discussing on whether we want to run kind of like increased drop rates event. So instead of like a new difficulty level, it's kind of like a campaign. Yeah, like double drop rates. Yeah, or like more like increased drop rates. Yeah. So
yeah, if that happened, maybe I would actually finally start doing the raid. Because I always say that I have to do it, and I just never find enough time to do it. So, but a double, or not double, but like increased drop rates in general would definitely, I think, inspire more people to do raid and go after those materials. Right. Because there are some really amazing spheres that come out of raid. So it's definitely for everyone's benefit.
All right. Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you, Salvo, for that question, and thank you to all of you who left questions in our comments. Of course, we unfortunately can't get to all of them, but we hear you. We always love to, have your feedback, and anything that you send our way, we'll be more than happy to at least read and consider. So keep it coming, because you guys are what make this game great.
Yep.
We can't wait to hear from you, the next time and the time after that. But Rizky, do we have anything else before we say goodbye today?
Not really. I guess things just like what you said earlier in the opening. Like 2020 is kind of like a interesting year, I would say.
To say the least.
The pandemic won't be ending anytime soon, but stay safe, everyone, and stay home, play games, and work hard and play hard, I guess.
Yes, and stay healthy.
Stay healthy.
Yes. That's definitely the most important thing. Be mindful of your surroundings and try to just keep yourself in as best a situation as possible. Of course, the situation is less than ideal for everyone involved, but we're always wishing you the best and hoping that you and your loved ones stay, positive and in good shape. So that does it for us here today at BNC. We will see you on the next episode.
Bye.